Tuesday, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you on this 9th day of April 2013. 9th day of April 2013. Welcoming you aboard, reminding you the number to call and to speak with me live. 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. Toll free. That's toll free from anywhere in the continental U.S. If you're listening to the podcast or would like to speak with a live human being to get information about what we are up to, either with the health opportunity and how to get the supplements at the wholesale price, or the business opportunity, that number, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. But for those of you who are technologically savvy, simply the easiest way to find out about everything that we're up to here is by visiting the website fireyourmdnow.com, fireyourmdnow.com. Mosey around the website, click on the links, click on the longevity button, join our longevity group, and let us show you how to make yourself wealthy by making those in your life healthy, and that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, don't you think? Well, I think that it does. As a matter of fact, I know that it does. I've been doing naturopathic medicine in that clinical setting for over 24 years now. 24 years of naturopathic medical treatment, helping patients to recover their health in spite of their MD's best efforts just to manage their health conditions, encouraging people, helping people to get better with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. This is a wonderful thing, ladies and gentlemen. If it were a perfect world, there would be as many naturopathic physicians as there were MDs, and the naturopathic medical profession and the chiropractic medical profession and the acupuncturists and the Ayurvedic medical practitioners, etc., 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 would all get the same amount of research money. And if that had happened, there would be no more cancer, there would be no more heart disease, there would be no more chronic disease. Because with just a modicum of research that was done, let me do some math here, 35 years ago, with just a modicum of research that was done 35 years ago by one naturopathic physician, Dr. Joel Wallach, and then 30 years of clinical experience piled on top of that, we have solutions. We have solutions, clinically verified solutions, to support and promote the structure and function of your body in the face of most chronic diseases. Imagine what we could do if we got, $1 billion a year to figure out how to fix cancer from a holistic perspective. We'd have it fixed. We know what to do to support and promote the structure and function of your heart. We know what to do to support and promote the structure and function of your joints and bones. We know what to do to support and promote the structure and function of your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, your skin, everything, more or less. Well, maybe not everything, but the lion's share of stuff, we already have it dialed right in. But because we are in the grips of the pharmaceutical industry machinations, because we are in the grips of MD-dominated medicine for over 100 years, because the MDs out-legislate all of their holistic counterparts at every turn of the road, because the MDs are overbearing, arrogant, incompetent people who want to legislate themselves into first place and to use the force of law, to keep their competition at bay, because the medical arena is so pretentiously overbearing and dominated hedonistically by the MDs. You don't know that my profession exists. For goodness sake, most people don't even know how to pronounce naturopathy, let alone know what it is. I'll never forget, a buddy of mine was telling me a story. This was over 20 years ago. I was much more politically active 20 years ago than I was now. That might be changing, but time will tell. But he was involved with a group that was trying to get naturopathic medicine licensed somewhere in the South. I believe it was South Carolina, although don't quote me on that. It could have been any state in the South. I think it was South Carolina. And they were meeting with the governor of the state, or one of the senators. You know, you got to get a bill sponsored by a senator or a state senator, and then everybody has to sign off on it, and then the Congress has to sign off on it, or depending on, you know, what type of a legislative system they have in the state, and then everybody has to agree on it, and then it goes to the governor's desk and he signs it into law. Well, they were sitting across the table from one of the senators who they were trying to get to sponsor the bill to license and regulate naturopathic medicine, and the senator looked at it and said, "Naturopaths? We don't need hiking trails. We need jobs. That's what we need. We don't need hiking trails. We need jobs." Naturopaths. Yeah, well, true story. I did not make that up, although it sounds like I did. But this is what we're up against. This is new-fashioned medical nutrition. This is stuff that you had no idea about. This is in the domain of the information that you didn't know you didn't know. And the hardest thing that people have the hardest barrier that we have to break through is this ridiculous notion that has been ingrained in us, by 100 years of pharmaceutical socialization, that if it's not mainstream, it is therefore questionable, or, a little hokey, or a little whatever. And like the saying goes, an old lie is much easier to believe than a new truth. An old lie is much easier to believe than a new truth. And this is where my profession is right now. We are the gatekeepers, the holders of information, which is new-fashioned. It's new-fashioned. It's not old-fashioned. It's new-fashioned. That very few people have an understanding of, very few people have clinical experience with. The stuff that we're talking about 100 years from now will be mainstream. But because we're on the cutting edge, because we're the first ones to bring it to the marketplace, everybody's looking at us like we have three heads and, oh, who are those guys? Which, again, is one of life's greatest ironies, because the people that you do not question, the people that you just do whatever they tell you to, the MDs, are the people that you should question. Because they're the ones that are selling the snake oil, not me. Not my colleagues. We're not selling snake oil. The MDs are. Are you kidding me? Vioxx, the pain medication to end all pain medications. Absolutely no side effects from Vioxx. Didn't hurt your liver, didn't hurt your kidneys. Only one side effect of Vioxx, death. 500,000 people were killed by Vioxx. 500,000 people were killed by Vioxx. And nobody went to jail. And the MDs still go about their business. I mean, is not that the epitome of snake oil? Isn't that snake oil? I mean, isn't it? A medication that's supposed to do A, but instead it does B, and into the bargain it kills you. I mean, or hurts you. That's snake oil. Doesn't work, creates side effects, and hurts you, and it's very expensive. Well, guess what? There are hundreds more drugs just like that. The only people selling snake oil in the United States have MD after their name, and yet we give them a pass. You think that you're skeptical, but you're not skeptical. Oh, I'd like to see the research about those minerals. Oh, I'd like to see the research about why you're telling me that whole wheat is bad. Oh, we need to research that. I can't add vitamin C with my calcium. I can't add vitamin C with my thyroid medication. Oh, I need to see all the research for that. And on the other hand, you take the Vioxx without even blinking an eyelash. You take the chemotherapy that doesn't work. You do whatever the medical doctor tells you to do without question. You don't ask him how it works. What biochemical pathways does it excite? What does it do? How does it do it? What are the side effects? How come it doesn't cure anything? Why does it just manage the problem? You just do what the doctor tells you to do. And then you're going to question vitamins? Well, guess what? Go pound sand. You're not skeptical. I have yet to meet a truly skeptical person. Maybe I've met two in my entire life. Every once in a while I'll be giving a lecture somewhere around the world, and someone from the audience comes up and tells me, I told the MDs to go and shove it 40 years ago, and they told my wife she needed to take Premarin. Well, I looked up what Premarin was all about, and I told the MD to go pound sand. Well, awesome, my new best friend. But very few of us are like that, because we have become culturally conditioned with, decades of fluoride which makes our IQs lower than they should be. Did you know that? Fluoride decreases your IQ. That's documented. I'm not making it up. Fluoride decreases your IQ, your intelligence. So, you know, we've been made docile. We've become culturally conditioned to trust authority, trust the MD. So we do. You know, Marcus Welby and MASH and all of these shows, House, and all of this nonsense that's on the media that paints MDs as these wonderful figures who pull the cat out of the bag at the very last minute, pull the magic trick out of the bag and save the patient. If it only were like that. For goodness sake, if they did a reality show, you know, like Cops, about doctors, nobody would go to the MD again. They just wouldn't. Because reality is far from the picture that Hollywood paints. It's far from the picture that Hollywood paints. The leading cause of death in the United States. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments. The leading cause of human suffering, MD-directed medical treatments. The leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medical treatments. While the MDs have been driving the bus of medicine, autism is going through the roof. Obesity is going through the roof. And yet, we seem to be okay with it. We just give the MDs a pass. But, oh, I'm skeptical about those vitamins, doctor. Can you show me that research, please? Well, no, I can't show you the research. Go pound sand. Now, if you were truly skeptical, that's one thing. Because we have the research. We have the clinical experience. But we need to get our heads out of our you-know-what. We need to just pick ourselves up, look around, and have some intellectual integrity, for goodness sake, as we're moving through our life. All things being equal, I'm not going to talk to you if you're a hypocrite. But if you're open-minded, and if you know for yourself that, you know what, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way than ineffective, dangerous, harmful, man-made synthetic pharmaceutical drugs that just manage disease. Well, you've just found it. 665829933. Let's go right to the phones now with Ethy Linda from Pennsylvania. Welcome back, Ethy Linda. How's it going?
Hi, pretty good. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. What's up?
Well, my daughter has been crying when she has to pee, and I thought it's because she wants to hop on the potty. So we've been putting her on the potty, and that's been great. When she doesn't make it to the toilet, her pee diapers have this pungent smell, and the cries when she has to pee are just getting more profound. And so I went for some MD advice just to find out what he thought the diagnosis would be. He took some of her urine sample and noticed white blood cells in her urine sample. And he's thinking it's possibly a UTI. Now, obviously, his guess that led to prescription for a UTI. I haven't filled it yet, but I just wanted to know what your thoughts were in regard to white blood cells in urine.
Well, she's got a bladder infection. I mean, this is not rocket science. The MD there should have been no doubt, no question. When you see white cells, she's got a bladder infection. Now, it could be a kidney infection, but I kind of doubt it. She has an active infection. So she's 2 years old, so I'd give her the antibiotic. How long are they recommending you give it to her for?
10 days.
Yeah, well, I'd give it to her for 5 days. That's what I would do. If she were my patient in a state in which I could prescribe, which antibiotic was it?
Oh, my, what was that? Good question. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah,
and I probably won't be able to pronounce it. Cefadroxil?
Cefadroxil?
Yeah.
Yeah, how much does she weigh?
She's 30 pounds.
Well, if it were my child and I was in a state where I could prescribe that drug, and there are probably 10 or 15 states that I can prescribe that drug if I was licensed there, I would tell you only to give it to her for 5 days. In addition, give her one of the killer biotics once a day. Give her one of Youngevity's killer biotics once a day. Make sure you're giving her the appropriate stuff in the Healthy Start Pack. And there's a homeopathic medicine that may help. It's kind of a shot from the hip. And all of the classical homeopaths who are watching are, their heads are boiling right now, and they're spinning around, and there's steam coming out of their ears. because classical homeopathy is rarely prescribed on the diagnosis. Actually, it's never prescribed on the diagnosis. It's always prescribed based on the symptoms. However, homeopathic medicine can't hurt you if you take it how I tell you to take it. And if it works, it's very inexpensive, $10 max. If it works, it's a wonderful thing, and so it's worth taking a shot at. Are you familiar with homeopathy? Have you ever used a homeopathic medicine?
Absolutely.
All right, so give her Cantheris. C-A-N like Nancy, T like Thomas, H-A-R-I-S, Cantheris.
Okay.
Give her, if you've got the 30C, give her 2 pellets twice a day. If you get the 200C, give her 2 pellets once a day of the Cantheris. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Because it's an acute thing, if it's 200C, I would give her 2 pellets of the Cantheris twice a day. And if it's the 30C strength, I would do 2 pellets 4 times a day. Really, kids should only need this for 2 days max. I mean, 2 days max. And with homeopathy, it's like cough medicine. You only give it when there are active symptoms. So I've seen urinary tract infections disappear after 1 dose of a homeopathic medicine. So you want to look to see how she feels. And if she's doing well, then you don't give her any more homeopathy. Continue, of course, with the antibiotics for the full 5 days. That's my recommendation. Remember, I'm not allowed, I can't prescribe antibiotics in your state. But, I already went through that drill. And once you're done with the antibiotics, you want to be giving her the root beer belly. Give her 1 dose of the root beer belly every day for 30 days. 1 dose of the root beer belly every day for 30 days. And that will help to offset the damage that the antibiotics accrue. Because remember, prescription medications always have a cost. And it's not just a financial cost, there's a metabolic cost. There's no drug that's without cost, and so we have to offset the net negative benefits of the drug. So check that out. I wouldn't worry too much about it. However, if after 5 days the symptoms persist, then you need to, the next thing to check for is whether it's a kidney problem. If it's a kidney problem, that's a whole different thing. I doubt very much that it is. But that's kind of the logical thought progression here. All right? Hey, Ethelinda, thanks for calling. We're up against the break. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your trust. Give me a call back. Let me know what happens to your daughters. Christy from Montana has a daughter who's pulling her hair out. Welcome aboard, Christy. You are live.
Hello.
Hello, Christy. Hey, you're going to have to speak up a little bit. How you doing?
Okay. I have a problem with my daughter. Can you hear me?
I can. That's perfect.
Okay. When she was about a year old, her teeth started falling out.
Yeah.
And about that time, she started pulling her hair out too.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to the medical doctors told me her teeth, she has a disease, a genetic disease, and the bones of her gums, the bones of her gums are deteriorating, so her teeth are falling out.
Yeah.
So
they told you it was genetic, right? Did they tell you which gene it was?
No, they told me 1 out of 4 of my kids could have it.
Yeah, well, look, they're idiots. They're wrong. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Pulling out the hair is called trichotillomania, by the way, for those of you eggheads in the audience, like me, by the way. I'm the king of the eggheads, by the way. I don't say that degradingly. Trichotillomania is fancy schmancy doctor talk for pulling out the hair. Now, guess what? From our point of view, weird behavioral stuff like this, like pulling out your hair, I mean, that's a peculiar behavior, is caused by mineral deficiencies. Mineral deficiencies. When your body is minerally deficient, it makes you anxious.
Yeah.
And people deal with their anxiety in different ways. Some people get restless legs at night in bed. Some people get full-blown anxiety and panic attacks. Some people pick their nails. Some people sit at the tabletop and tear paper endlessly. Some people pull their hair out, whatever. Well, guess what? If her teeth are falling out, teeth are made out of bones, right? Well, bones are made out of minerals So you got a 2-for-1 here. Your daughter has chronic undiagnosed mineral deficiencies, and the MDs do not know what they're talking about. One more reason to fire your MD. But look, you don't have enough evidence. All right, well, look, here's what I want you to do, right? I want you to follow my advice for 90 days.
Okay.
Follow my advice for 90 days and call me back every 2 or 3 weeks and give me a report as to how your daughter's doing. And then you can tell the MDs, if we get her on the other side of this, which is practically guaranteed, practically guaranteed, when we get her on the other side of this, you're going to call the doctors back and say, well, look, what about the genetic? I thought this was genetic. How can I fix it if it wasn't genetic? And then I want you to write a letter to the state medical board saying that these medical doctors are incompetent and you want them investigated because they did not know how to help you fix your daughter, and they're full of crap. So how much does she weigh, Christy?
She weighs about 30 pounds.
All right, 30 pounds. I'm going to have to do some math in my head. All right, so here's what I'd like you to give her every day. You ready?
Yes.
All right, 1/2 of a scoop. 1/2 of a scoop of Beyond Tangy Tangerine powder.
Beyond what?
Yeah, it's Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's a crazy name, I know, but it's the name of Youngevity's multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement. It's probably the most, well, not probably, as far to my mind, to my knowledge base, it is the most sophisticated nutritional supplement currently on the planet. It's a fantastic supplement.
From here?
Well, yeah. 855-347-3696. Just call that number up and they will order you everything. So I'm going to tell you how to take it, and then I'm going to tell you what to order to get it at the lowest price, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first thing is Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's a red vitamin powder.
It's half scoop.
Yeah, 1/2 of a scoop. Inside the little bottle that you're going to get, there's a little blue scoop. I want you to give your daughter 1/2 of a scoop in 4 ounces of water twice a day. 4 to 8 ounces of water. 1/2 of a scoop in 4 to 8 ounces of water twice a day, and have her drink it down. Okay?
Okay.
The next thing is a white bottle. It's a liquid calcium. It's a liquid calcium. It's in a bottle. It's white. The liquid is white. The bottle is blue. It's called OsteoFX. O, S like Sam, T like Thomas, E like Edward, O, F like Frank, X. OsteoFX. It's a white liquid calcium. I want you to give her one. What do I want you to give her? I want you to give her 1 teaspoon 3 times a day in a little bit of orange juice. 1 teaspoon 3 times a day in a little bit of orange juice. Okay? 1 teaspoon 3 times a day in a little bit of orange juice.
I get that, but just spell it one more time.
Yep. O like Oscar, S like Sam, T like Thomas, E like Edward, O like Oscar, F like Frank, X.
Okay.
Like X-ray, OsteoFX. 1 teaspoon 3 times a day in a little bit of orange juice each time.
Okay.
All right, the third thing we're going to give her is called EFA Plus, like Edward Francis Albert. EFA Plus, Edward Francis Albert. It's a little fish oil capsule. I want her to have 1 a day, 1 of those a day. And if she can't swallow the capsule, you can pop it in her mouth and have her chew it like a gummy bear. If she doesn't like how that tastes, you can just pierce the little gel cap with a pin or a needle, squeeze the oil out onto her food, and let her take it that way. But I want her to get 1 capsule of the EFA Plus a day, okay? 1 capsule of the EFA Plus a day.
I get that.
All right. The next thing I want her to take is selenium. Selenium. S like Sam, E like Edward, L like Larry, E like Edward, N like Nancy, I-U-M. Selenium.
That's the mineral, right?
Yeah, that's one of the mineral supplements. Yep, selenium. I want her to take at 30 pounds. I want her to take 2 capsules a day. 2 capsules of the selenium a day. And Yeah, it's a little capsule. She's a little girl. If she doesn't want to swallow the capsule or she can't, then you can open it's a little gel cap. You can open it up and dump the little selenium powder in juice or in her food or in applesauce or whatever just to get it in her. But she needs 2 of those capsules a day, all right?
Okay.
And that's all that she needs. And so here's what you need to order, all right? Call 855-347-3696 and order, 855-347-3696 and order 1 Healthy Start Pack, 1 Healthy Start Pack, and 1 bottle of selenium. All right? Now, 1 Healthy Start Pack and 1 bottle of selenium will last your daughter 2 months, maybe more. It's about $115, I think, plus the selenium. It's going to be about $150, but it will last your daughter 2, maybe 8, 10 weeks, okay? Now, in addition to that, do you use the Internet at all?
No, we don't.
Okay, so I want you to stop feeding your daughter the following 5 foods. You ready?
Yes.
All right. No more wheat, whole wheat, no more wheat flour, no more barley, no more rye, and no more oats. No wheat, barley, rye, or oats. None. Okay. So you're going to have to switch if she eats a lot of bread or pasta or cookies or crackers or bagels or whatever.
Okay.
You're going to have to switch to anything gluten-free. Gluten-free is okay. So if you can find gluten-free bread, no problem. If you can find gluten-free cookies and crackers and pie crust, cereals, no problem. But it has to be gluten-free. No more gluten, okay?
Okay, I have one more question. How long will she be on these vitamins?
Well, she needs them. I mean, everybody needs these vitamins. If she were my kid, she'd be on it for the rest of her life, as would you, as would your husband, as would everybody in your world be, because her teeth are falling out because probably the most probable cause of this, right? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but the most probable cause of this and her pulling her hair out is that her body is deficient big time in minerals. So all of these supplements are going to put all of the minerals back in her body, and everything should get better. The teeth should get better and brighten up, and she should stop pulling her hair out and start to be a normal little girl again. You should notice a difference within 4 weeks. You give her this stuff for 4 weeks, you should notice a difference.
She was at a homeopathic, and she said her anxiety level was very high.
Yeah, well, see, homeopathy is not a good treatment for this. Homeopathy is a very good treatment for certain things, but not for this. Okay. This is a nutritional problem. It's not a homeopathic problem, and the homeopath...
Are the teeth and the hair related? Are those two related?
Yes, they are. They're related, yes.
Because she pulls out her hair and the teeth falling out are related? Yeah,
it's caused by the same thing, not enough minerals, right? Okay. Not enough minerals, all right? So try this just for 4 weeks and then call me back with a report. Does that sound good, Christy in Montana?
And and thank you very much.
All right. Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, well, you should be excited. I'm excited for your daughter. Thank you very much for the call.
I'm very excited.
All right. Very, very good. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I always tell you that we're international. Well, Faith and Begora, we're going all the way to Belfast now. We're going over the sea, over the pond to Belfast. Going to be talking to Colin about his daughter. Hey, Colin, thanks for calling. Please excuse my bad Irish accent. My mother was a McCann, don't you know?
Not a bad attempt, not a bad attempt. How are you, Dr. Glidden? It's a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah, thanks for calling. So your daughter has intestinal lymphangiectasia?
Correct, yes. She was tested for Turner's syndrome, Crohn's disease, celiac disease. Yeah. Lots and lots of things at birth. She needed a blood transfusion because her food was coming out the other end 20 minutes later, undigested. Yeah. And her mother, unfortunately, didn't breastfeed, so I don't know how that would have went.
It would have made it worse. Had her mother breastfed her, it would have been 10 times worse.
I see.
10 times worse.
Really? That's interesting. I had no idea. Yeah. It went on and on for biopsies over the years, We saw the head pediatrician of Northern Ireland. There was three of them over. My daughter is 12 now, and she was diagnosed at 10 years old.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy. And the more I learn from you and Dr. Wallach and other great people like that, the more angry I'm getting about the more information you get, the more angry it makes you.
Well, I know, especially when it hits home like this, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's information is power, of course, but it just makes you so angry the more you learn, really. But the main thing why I was calling you is the hairs in the back of my neck stood up when I listened to one of your webinars, and you said that the fillies in the intestine can actually regenerate.
Yeah. The body will fix itself. The body, the body is regenerating itself all the time, for goodness sake. I mean, that's why we grow and why the bodies change. I mean, if you look at pictures of yourself, if you were to do a timeline, to take a picture of your body every week for your entire life, and then run it like a movie. I mean, it's amazing what the body can do. Now, there is a point of no return. There is a point beyond which the body is unable to fix itself, but for goodness sake, I don't know where that is, and no doctor knows where that is. And, what do we do here? We give the body the nuts and bolts it needs to fix itself. We get the heck out of the way, keep our fingers crossed, and see how far back it bounces. Stick around, Colin. We're up against the break. I'm going to come back and give you, hopefully, some good advice about what your daughter can do to get on the other side of this. So glad that you called. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden talking to Colin from Belfast. His daughter's up against it. Now, let me just tell the listening audience what we're talking about here, Colin, just to keep everybody happy. Lymphangiectasia is fancy schmancy doctor talk for lymphatic vessels in the intestinal tract, which have become enlarged and inflamed. And when that happens, the body has trouble absorbing nutrients because, well, guess what? That's what this small intestine does. It absorbs nutrients. And, you've got basically three sets of blood vessels or vessels in the body that carry fluid. You've got the arteries that carry blood away from the heart. You've got the veins that carry blood back to the heart. And you have the lymphatic vessels, which carry lymph fluid, which is the main reservoir of the immune system. It carries a whole bunch of stuff, but it's the main reservoir of the immune system. And Colin's daughter's lymph vessels in her abdomen are dilated. They're bigger than they should be. And the medical doctors, after hundreds of years of research, are clueless as to what causes this. Now, I just have to ask you, Colin, for my own, so I can sleep at night. Has her heart been checked out? They
suspected several times that she had holes in the chambers, and after ultrasounds or ultrascans, they tested her once a year, and they said they were too small to worry about. But you're right, I think there was peppered with very tiny holes. They said they were possibly going to have to do a stent to close them over, but they said they were too small to worry about, which I hope is true, because the more I learn from you guys, the more I doubt what they're telling me. And
I get it. Okay, so little tiny holes in the heart, they're okay, and there's a high degree of probability that as she's growing, if she gets the right nutrition, those little tiny holes will fix themselves, and life is good. Now, from our point of view, right, because nobody knows the cause of this, we have to rely on common sense. And, so what's going on here? There's a problem in the intestinal tract. And this particular problem is always associated with inflammation and destruction of the intestinal villi. So what's the main thing that causes inflammation and destruction of the intestinal villi? Well, it would be wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Now, the medical doctors have probably told you that those things are not problematic because they did biopsies and they looked to confirm a diagnosis of celiac disease, which is a drop-dead diagnostic discovery process that shows, well, if you have celiac disease, guess what? You do have a problem with wheat, barley, rye, and oats. The problem, Colin, with the testing for celiac disease is that it is rampant with false negatives. You can have full-blown celiac disease and the test will come back negative. It's a bad test. It's a waste of time. The only time that it shows up positive is if it's just this full-blown, really big, bad voodoo daddy, and you kind of sort of knew it was a problem anyway. So just because that test came back negative is irrelevant. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and if it looks like a duck and flies like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So what we want to do here is just be smart and err on the side of caution. So your daughter needs, yesterday, to completely eliminate wheat, barley, rye, and oats from her diet if you haven't done that already. She needs to be eliminating the 10 bad foods like her life depended on it, especially the wheat, barley, rye, and oat component, especially the wheat, barley, rye, and oat component. Now, that's the first step. The second step would be to provide her body with the raw materials that it needs to maintain and regulate the health of her, in this case, digestive tract and her heart. So what's her current body weight, more or less?
She's quite heavy. She's 12 years old, and she's carrying at least 25 pounds of fluid at a time. Yeah. So I think she'd be about 140.
Okay, so without the fluid, that's going to make her about 120, right?
Yeah, right. It depends. The low-fat diet, you know, the lower fat you go, the less fluid there is, but then the more you worry because is she ingesting enough?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. And welcome to MD land. All right, now listen, Colin, again, I'm sorry, we're up against the break here. If you can, stick around. I mean, I don't know if you're doing this by Skype or how much this is costing you, but if you can stick around for the beginning of the next segment, which is going to be in about 8 minutes from now. Stick around. Otherwise, I'll just start the next segment telling you what to give your daughter, and you can listen off here. Whatever works for you works for me. Thanks for the call. I'm going to line this up for you, buddy. I appreciate the trust here. Stick around. We will dial this in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. It's an international show today. Welcome aboard. This is Fire Your MD Now.